There. Welcome to Just the Discs. My name is Brian. We talk about Blu-rays here. And today I'm going to do a speedy run through of my Vinegar Syndrome package for the month of May. Yeah. Although there's some June titles included here too. I've got some of the partner labels that I'm going to talk about. In fact, I'm going to start with a couple of the partner label titles that I'm excited about, and then we'll get into the package. So bear with me, but we're going to start with Dekanalog this time with this very unique release called the Adam Rifkin Film Festival. And Adam Rifkin, director of lots of stuff, Invisible Maniac recently on a 4K, as well as things like The Dark Backward, which I'm a big fan of, and Detroit Rock City is one of his most popular films. But he's a really fun, enjoyable director, and this is a really neat release wherein basically he has, through the help of Dekanalog, been able to put together a collection of, I think about, I want to say like 23 or so of his short films. Actually, it might even be more than that. It's around 23 of his shorts that he made when he was a kid, mostly, and as he got a little older and was getting ready to go to college and stuff. And it is a really neat collection, I gotta say, because not only does it include all those films, but it also includes interviews with Adam himself, and his sister who was involved in the films, a couple of his good friends that were involved when he was younger. So we get their takes and memories of all this stuff. And it's just really neat to see him evolving as a filmmaker. And I'm just scratching the surface of watching all the shorts. I've watched the interviews and I enjoyed those. But look for hopefully a longer, more in-depth take on this release, and I'm hoping to get to talk to Adam himself about it because it's such a unique and cool disc from Dekanalog. Just a great, like I said, collection of stuff, the kind of stuff that you watch and you kind of get inspired by, and so this is a really cool collection of short films with interviews. It's almost like a documentary, but not put together in that way. You can watch the shorts all together, play them all, or you can isolate them and watch each one, and then you can watch the interviews. And it just says, young Adam Rifkin, addled by a steady diet of Mel Brooks, Mel Blanc, Monty Python, and Mad Magazine, assembled a gaggle of like-minded feral 70s kids to create this cornucopia of cartoonish capers captured on gloriously grainy Super 8 film. And he goes into the whole process of how he would do it and how he would edit and add audio with a VCR, and it's like I said, truly makes you want to make your own stuff. So definitely worth checking out. Look for further on this one a little bit later down the line. And then the other one I wanted to highlight is, I think, the first 4K release from AGFA, which is really exciting. And this is a disc that this movie Effects from 1980 is a really neat kind of horror behind the scenes making a movie that's like a snuff film, kind of like the back says, cobbled together with loose change by George Romero's friends. Effects is a mesmerizing DIY frightmare that no one talks about, but everyone should. A group of coked up filmmakers, including Tom Savini, Joe Pilato, and John Harrison, gather in Pittsburgh to make a slasher called Duped, the Snuff Movie. As filming begins and, quote, accidents happen, it's clear that something isn't right and no one can be trusted. A gritty melting pot of De Palma-like shocks and Carpenter-esque tension. Effects is a meta-enhanced takedown on the philosophy of horror that doubles as a sleazy, chilling movie on its own. AGFA is honored to present the worldwide UHD debut of Effects, newly restored in 4K from its original long-lost 16mm camera negative. So they have released this on Blu-ray before. This is a new transfer and a new restoration. So it comes with 2 discs and a nice booklet. So you have your UHD and your Blu-ray. And of course, as is usually the case, we have more features on the Blu-ray, but the UHD includes an archival commentary with producer and star John Harrison, director Dusty Nelson, and editor Pasquale Buba. And that same commentary is on the Blu-ray, as well as a 4K grindhouse preservation from the only 35mm print in existence, so you can watch it nice and scratchy and grindhoused up, if you will. A Zoom Q&A with John Harrison and Dusty Nelson and the AGFA team. After Effects documentary with commentary, early short films. Again, it's just a really great package. I like to make sure and praise what AGFA is doing. They are doing some of the best releases out there. You know, I mean, these films may or may not be your bag, but they're interesting and they're always unique and entertaining. And AGFA does a bang up job of putting these discs together and including some nice extras and doing great scans. And I'm a fan of this one, and it is very much underseen, I think. So definitely keep this one in mind as AGFA's first 4K. Now, let's talk about what we're getting in this package. And I'll start with Night Screams on 4K. This is a movie that I was not really aware of. High school football star David has just won a 4-year scholarship to the University of Oklahoma, and with his parents away for the night, is planning to mark the occasion with a party for his buddies and girlfriend. But as the evening's festivities get underway at a local nightclub, 2 violent fugitives take refuge in the basement of David's home. When the action moves over to David's place, it quickly becomes clear that someone is intent on spoiling the celebration, as one by one, the revelers get picked off and butchered in various gruesome ways. But are the Stowaways crooks responsible for the carnage, or is it the work of someone even more unhinged? Good question. The brainchild of producer co-writer Dillis L. Hart II, and starring Ron Thomas, the Karate Kid, and Cobra Kai. You can kind of recognize his face if you see him on the cover. He's one of the guys. I think he ends up being kind of nice at the end of Karate Kid, like he sort of feels bad about being a jerk. I don't know. But I definitely recognize him. Wichita Lens Night Screams from director Alan Plone is a late-entry slasher gem which offers up an embarrassment of inventive kills incorporating electrified hot tubs, bodies crushed under cars, death by poisonous fumes, and faces shoved into hamburger grills alongside more standard methods of hacking and slashing. Deemed too short by its distributors, the filmmakers added copious amounts of stock, sex, and violence pulled from other sources, turning an already oddball effort into a fascinating mutant film. Now for the first time alongside the standard theatrical version, an all newly restored in 4K for the original from the original camera negative, along with a brand new feature-length documentary telling the fascinating and sometimes tumultuous tale behind the making of this regional slasher favorite. Now, I'm a big slasher person, so having not seen this, very curious to check it out in its elongated form with the extra stuff, and then of course the shorter version that we also get here. So yeah, you've got the commentary with director Alan Plone and cinematographer Eric Anderson, moderated by special features producer Ewan Kant. Blood and Chopsticks echoes of the Night Screams 80-minute brand new making of documentary featuring interviews with its cast and crew, original trailer, lots of great stuff. Vinegar Syndrome and 4K, they're really kicking some butt. Speaking of which, I got Showgirls. This was not included in the package, but was an optional pickup, and is in their great fold-out case that I love. Very nice. It's a cool magnetic case. I always love this stuff. Comes with a really nice book. Like, I don't know if I can show all this, but it's a really nice book that comes with nice slip case and just copious extras here for this sort of cult favorite from Paul Verhoeven. Let's see here. contains the UHD disc contains the NC-17 cut of Showgirls presented in HDR and newly restored from existing Studio Master with the following sound options, blah, blah, blah. Greatest movie ever made, commentary track with David Schmader. Also included 2 Blu-ray discs. Disc 1 contains everything from the UHD disc plus the original trailer. Blu-ray disc 2 contains the following additional special features: More Vegas Than Vegas, an interview with director Paul Verhoeven. You Gotta Gamble If You're Gonna Win, interview with screenwriter Joe Esterhaus. All That Glitters, filming Showgirls, interview with cinematographer Joost Vocano and performance lighting designer Peter Morse. The Rhythm of Chaos, interview with co-editors Mark Helfrich and Mark Goldblatt. Born to Dance, interview with actress Rena Riffel. Free Lap Dance with Every Large Popcorn, The Cult of Showgirls. Interview with Midnight Mass podcast host Peaches Christ and Michael Verratti. And special behind-the-scenes featurette, A Showgirls Diary, lap dance tutorial featuring the world-famous girls of Scores. So some really great new stuff. I know Elijah Drenner, I think, was involved in helping put this together. So very excited to check out all those new extras and this wonderful 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. They are really at the top of the game when it comes to this stuff. You know, the packaging, the extras, it's all really solid. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then we have one more 4K here. I think, no, maybe there's multiples. This one is A Blade in the Dark, Lamberto Bava, and it comes with a case that you pull off the corners, which is interesting. There we go. Also comes with a nice book and slip and 4K and Bruno, an up-and-coming film composer, has been hired to write the score to a new horror movie. The film's director, Sandra, suggests that he move into a spooky, secluded villa so as to get extra creative inspiration. However, life begins to imitate art as the vicious killer starts bumping off anyone and everyone who happens to pay Bruno a visit, as each death leaves more clues while opening up more possibilities as potential suspects. Bruno begins to believe that the film he's been hired to work on may itself be the key to unlocking the mystery. The first major international hit for director Lamberto Bava, A Blade in the Dark, was initially conceived as a TV miniseries but quickly deemed far too violent for the airwaves by Italian censors and was instead re-edited for theatrical release. A classically structured giallo, albeit one taking stylistic cues from the then booming slasher craze, complete with an array of elaborate and bloody murders. The film features, and it goes through the cast, pulsing score by Guido and Maurizio D'Angelis. Vinegar Syndrome is proud to present the world UHD debut of this 80s giallo classic, now restored in 4K from its original camera negative and presented for the first time on disc in both its extended TV version as well as its long unavailable international theatrical cut. So you have the 109-minute extended Italian TV edit this is on the UHD, and newly restored from 16mm original camera negative, and the following, and it has a brand new commentary from Hysteria Continues, and then on the HD disc 2, so you have two UHD discs, contains a 97-minute theatrical edit of Blade in the Dark, presented in HDR, newly restored from its 16mm camera negative, with optional English subtitles, and then 2 Blu-ray discs are also included with special features where you have, again, the TV edit and the theatrical cut, and then an interview with director Don't Go Down the Stairs, 16-minute interview with director Lamberto Bava, House, 20-minute interview with screenwriter Dardano Sacchetti, Lights in an Empty House, 60-minute interview with cinematographer Gian Lorenzo Battaglia, The Gothic Slashers of Lamberto Bava, 17-minute video essay by film historian Sam Deegan, and more. So there's lots of great features here. 2 UHDs, 2 Blu-rays. Just really, this is one of their big months, folks. This is the halfway to Black Friday month, and so they really bring out the big guns and do the great stuff. So that's another 4K we're getting. And then lastly, on the 4Ks, we have the Boogeyman. This is Uli Lomel's film, and it's from 1980 as well. When she was young, Lacey witnessed a mirror-by-mirror reflection, the brutal murder of her stepfather at the hands of her brother Willie. Years later, Lacey has settled into a comfortable married life with a child of her own, while Willie has been rendered mute as a result of his childhood trauma and is taken to removing or blacking out all mirrors in the family home. When the very mirror through which Lacey and Willie viewed the murder is accidentally shattered, a dark and vengeful curse is unleashed on the family, and soon anyone unlucky enough to come into contact with shards of the mirror falls victim to a heinous murder. One of the major independent horror blockbusters made in the wake of Halloween, Uli Lomel's The Boogeyman catapulted its director out of the art house circuit and solidified him as a master of horror. Starring and co-scripted by Susanna Love and featuring Nicholas Love alongside B-movie icon John Carradine in supporting role, the film's grisly murders, designed by effects artist Craig Harris, landed it on the notorious list of video nasties and gave it an even larger cult fan base. Vinegar Syndrome at last presents this seminal stab at early 80s horror on 4K UHD and newly restored exclusively from its 35mm camera negative, and including a host of interviews with the cast. So that's cool. Let's see here. Scenes from a Marriage, brand new interview with Susanna Love, Boogeyman, and so on, interview with cinematographer David Sperling, brand new interview with actress Catherine Tambini, brand new interview with editor Terrell Tannen, Boogeyman as art, video, new interview with camera operator Jörg V. Walther, archival interview with writer-director Uli Lomel, 18 minutes as well. So, good stuff here. This has a 4K and a Blu-ray. Very nice. And then, real quick, oh man, it's all 4Ks. I forgot. We have one more. We have Undefeatable. This is a Cynthia Rothrock action movie from 1993. Christy Jones, Cynthia Rothrock, is a street tough member of a martial arts gang known as the Red Dragons. In an attempt to go straight and leave the gang life behind, Christy participates in mafia-run back alley street fights in an attempt to win enough money to put her sister through college. Meanwhile, a sadistic fighter known as Stingray becomes increasingly violent while taking part in unsanctioned fights to the death. When Stingray's wife leaves him due to his increasingly aggressive behavior, Stingray loses his grip on reality and begins raping, murdering, and removing the eyes of any woman that resembles his wife. When Stingray turns his murderous rage to Christy's sister, Christy has no choice but to reluctantly team up with Nick, a martial arts trained detective, in an attempt to stop Stingray's rampage before more women turn up dead. Directed by notorious Hong Kong filmmaker Godfrey Ho, Undefeatable has obtained true cult status thanks in large part to its now infamous final fight. For the first time on Blu-ray and 4K HD, restored from the original camera negative. Also included in this set are rarely seen alternate Hong Kong cut, released under the title Bloody Mary Killer. In true Godfrey Ho fashion, the film was re-edited into almost a new movie. Of course, he's notorious for doing that kind of stuff. Featuring more fight scenes, entirely new subplot involving triad gangsters, as well as additional characters, including known martial arts actor Robin Shu from Mortal Kombat. So 95-minute feature presentation in HDR, newly restored, 35 camera negative. And then, let's see here. Brand new commentary track with lead actress Cynthia Rothrock. And that's all included on the Blu-ray disc, as well as Godfrey Ho discusses Undefeatable, 15-minute brand new interview with producer-director Godfrey Ho, a cartoon with people, 18-minute brand new interview with cinematographer Phil Cook, Street Fighter, a brand new interview with actress Cynthia Rothrock, and more. There's a bunch more interviews on here, but looking forward to checking that out. She is fantastic, quite the martial artist, and always enjoyable to watch on screen. And then lastly, we have Villages of the Damned, 3 horrors from Spain. This might have been the one that Guillermo del Toro was championing. Comes with a nice booklet. And nice slipcase. And this set includes, beginning in the late 60s through the end of Franco's iron-fisted rule, genre filmmakers working in Spain using the horror genre to astutely comment on issues of class, religion, governance, and the horrors of day-to-day life. Collected here are a trio of unique and unsettling tales of distinctly Spanish horror, all of which are making their English-friendly Blu-ray debuts sourced from new 4K restorations exclusively prepared by Vinegar Syndrome. So we have El Bosque del Lobo, The Forest of the Wolf, 1970, 90 minutes, Spanish, mono. First in a series of dark folk horrors, directed by multi-Goya award-winning auteur Pedro Olea. The Forest of the Wolf tells the story of Benito Freire, an impoverished peddler, and the frequent petty thief who may or may not be a werewolf. Nevertheless, he is often overcome by animalistic instincts to kill, resulting in the superstition and panic in the nearby villages. A cold and unsettling study of a serial killer set against a backdrop of religious conservatism in the 19th century's rural Spain. Olea's masterpiece. Nextly, Las Flores del Vicio, The Sky is Falling. The Sky is Falling from 1975, 94 minutes. This is an English mono. A group of spoiled middle-aged Americans living on the outskirts of a poor coastal community are visited by a mysterious foursome of beautiful youths who seem to have been sent to fulfill their darkest desires, but quickly becomes apparent that these sensual and attractive youngsters have far more sinister and deadly purpose. This one is one of them I'm most interested in, I think. As incredibly colorful, oftentimes surreal and darkly humorous, morality fable decrying the perverse excesses indulged in by the rich. The Sky is Falling. The Sky is Falling was the sole Spanish production directed by Canadian-born British filmmaker Silvio Noriziano, starring Dennis Hopper and Carol Baker. This would-be cult hit has remained shamefully unavailable on Blu-ray until now. And then lastly, we have Beatriz, 1976, 85 minutes, Spanish mono. While walking through the woods, young Juan witnesses a group of bandits attempting to rob and kill a friar, only for a priest to end up slaying several of his attackers. Seeking refuge in Juan's family home, where he lives with his mother and his sister, Beatriz, the friar becomes an object of both lust and fear for the members of the household. After a mysterious illness befalls Beatriz, a suspicion mounts that he might be an agent of Satan. 2-disc region-free set, newly scanned and restored in 4K from their original negatives. Interviews, there's a few interviews on here as well, but it's really about those three films and the rarity of them, especially that second one. Very curious about that. So another cool set from Vinegar Syndrome. Now, I've got a few more of the partner label things to discuss. I'll zip through those. First off, I picked up the Saragossa manuscript by Wojciech J. Haas. This film, I remember when it came out on DVD, it was heralded as a favorite of, I want to say, both Scorsese and Jerry Garcia. And I was intrigued by any film that would be a favorite of both men. And it is a period piece set during the Napoleonic Wars. The film follows the exploits of Alphonse von Worden, an officer traveling through the Sierra Mountains. And with each passing traveler, the interweaving stories grow stronger. One of Wojciech Haas's most acclaimed films, this surrealistic cult epic has attracted support from Louis Buñuel, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and even Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. If I recall, it had just some remarkable dream sequences within dream sequences. It's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember it at all. But, being that this is the new and only Blu-ray that I know of, I had to grab it. It's a long movie, too. I want to say it's over 3 hours long. Introduction by Columbia University film professor and author Annette Insdorf. Critical assessment from Annette Insdorf. Interview with film critic Sebastian Smolinski. An essay by writer Sam Deegan, an essay by Annette Insdorf included with this release from Yellow Veil, which I don't have a lot of their stuff, but I couldn't pass this one up. And then we have, what's next? We have the new one from Deaf Crocodile. This is Prague Knights. And this film is from 1969. In the vein of horror anthologies like Baba's Black Sabbath, The Long Unseen Prague Knights is a gorgeous and supernatural vision of ancient and modern Prague caught between mod 60s fashions and nightmarish medieval catacombs, and filled with Kabbalistic magic, occult rituals, clockwork automations, and satanic visitors. A stuffy middle-aged foreigner, a businessman named Fabricius, lonely and looking for a night's diversion, finds it in the form of a mysterious blonde, Zuzana. In an abandoned cemetery, she tells him 3 tales involving black magic and erotic obsession. And director Jiri Bredeka's stunning The Last Golem, a young rabbi struggles to fashion a massive silent giant out of living clay until he's distracted by a mute servant girl. Utterly hypnotic and dreamlike, set to a haunting chorus of ghostly voices, The Last Golem ranks with Fellini's Toby Dammit in Spirits of the Dead as one of the finest supernatural short tales of the decade. That sounds fantastic. In the second episode, Bread Slippers, an 18th century countess indulges her passion for sweet cakes, adulterous affairs, and secret kisses with pretty maids until a mysterious visitor whisks her away to an abandoned mansion where fate has a different kind of dance in store for her. In the final story, poisoned prisoner, a ravishing murderess in the Middle Ages, dispatches lecherous merchants to the tune of upbeat 60s Czech pop songs scored by renowned Zdeněk Liska. A true rediscovery for horror and fantasy fans. Lovers of the occult, Prague Knights has been restored for its first ever U.S. release by Nardoni Filmový Archive. Deaf Crocodile Films and Comeback Company. And it has a new interview with Czech film critic and screenwriter Teresa Brzezková on her father, the director, co-director of Prague Knights, covering his famed career as a filmmaker, animator, and screenwriter, approximately 45 minutes in English. New audio commentary by Teresa, same woman, and Czech film expert Irina Kovarova of Comeback Company. 2 superb and haunting Jiri Benedict animated short films, Pomsta, aka Revenge, 1968, 14 minutes, and Jesuik, oh boy, I can't even pronounce this one. There Was a Miller on a River, 1971, 11 minutes, both in Czech with English subtitles. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion, and new art by Beth Morris. This sounds great. I am very excited to check this out. I'm a big fan of, the Italian anthologies that they're referring to, so this is right on the top of the pile to watch. Next up we have Graveyard Alive, A Zombie Nurse in Love. This is from Enjoy the Ride Media. It is from 2003. Patsy Powers, a dowdy young nurse, lives a life plagued by ridicule and loneliness, but when an unfortunate woodsman come zombie checks into Patsy's hospital, our ugly duckling heroine is transformed into a flesh-eating sex kitten. With a newfound powers and bursting sexuality, Patsy tries to win back her old flame, the handsome Dr. Dox, from her archival goody two-shoes. Now having to deal with her affliction, Patsy must learn to accept her new life, leaving her dream world behind for a harsher yet more satisfying undead reality. Shot in 35mm Technoscope, Graveyard Alive blends the aesthetics of the 1960s B-movies and German Expressionism, equal parts Night of the Living Dead and General Hospital. Graveyard Alive is fun and bloody horror romp. Never heard of this movie before, but the stills on the back intrigue me for sure. Bonus features, booklet featuring behind-the-scenes photos, text by Fangoria editor Mike Gingold, text by director Elza Kelfhart, and producer Patricia Gomez-Zaltar, commentary with Elza Kelfhart and Patricia Gomez-Zaltar, and producer Andrea Stark. So you get a commentary and bonus essays in the booklet inside. So that is Graveyard Alive from 2003, A Zombie Nurse in Love. Then we have Therapy Dogs. This is from Utopia. High School Never Ends. This is from 2019. Therapy Dogs chronicles the last year of high school for best friends Ethan and Justin. In an attempt to memorialize their remaining teenage years, they set out to create the ultimate senior video shot in a real high school. Over the course of a year, Ethan and Justin embark on a no-breaks adventure through the wasteland of Toronto suburbs. But as the school year unfolds and pressure on the friendship begin to weigh, questions arise about whether there's more to life than simply growing up. That's intriguing. And I can't tell if it's, I guess it's sort of like quasi-documentary, but not. So bonus features, a reunion of life after high school, Matt Johnson and Matt Miller interview, Slamdance world premiere Q&A, commentary with director, co-writer, star Ethan Ang, co-writer, star Justin Maurice, and Therapy Dogs Kids, open boom crescendo trailer. Yeah. No, that sounds intriguing. That sounds intriguing to me. I don't know anything about this one, but it sounds like a quasi-documentary high school thing that would be engaging to me for sure. Again, Therapy Dogs. And then lastly, we have At Dawn They Sleep. This is from Saturn's Core. Of course, they do their shot on video stuff. When a drug deal goes awry, best friends Steven and Ian find themselves at odds with a rival crime outfit. Soon after, their lives are turned upside down when they spend a lust-filled night with two beautiful women who turn out to be bloodthirsty, angelic vampires. Once the vampiric transformation takes hold, Steven and Ian use their newfound bloodlust and immortality to enact a gore-soaked revenge on their backstabbing adversaries. But when Steven makes a pact with a demon to hunt down and exterminate the angels that spawned him, the former friends must battle to the death as the ultimate fate of mankind hangs in the balance. In what is perhaps the ultimate mashup of 90s genre film tropes, At Dawn They Sleep, from Massachusetts-based video auteur Brain Paulin, seamlessly fused the vampire mystique, Hong Kong-style gunplay, practical splatter effects, and salacious micro-budget production with car stunts, miniatures, body burns, full frontal female nudity, somber autumn vibes, and his trademark show-stopping practical gore and creature effects, not to mention a blistering black metal soundtrack featuring Dawn, Usurper, War, and Arcanum. Saturn Core is proud to present At Dawn They Sleep in the first ever director-approved Blu-ray edition, newly paired with Paulin's scarce debut SOB gore epic Reap of Evil 1994, which arrives accompanied by a wealth of extras on its own. So new 2023 audio commentary with writer-director Brian Paulin and actor-producer Rich George. Archival 2004 commentary with the two of them. Outbreak of Evil, the making of At Dawn They Sleep. New 2023 featurette with writer-director Brian Paulin and actor-producer Rich George. Archival making of featurette. Outtakes. Scenes That Hurt. Archival blooper reel. Photo gallery. Morbid Visions. Subtitles. Bonus movie Reap of Evil, 94 minutes. Director Brian Paulin's debut, SOV Gore Epic. That's in SD, just so folks know, with optional audio commentary featuring him and actor Rich George, and a new 2023 Reap of Evil making featurette. That's pretty cool. So I love it when they include an extra feature as the bonus, and this looks and sounds intriguing for sure. Another really neat movie I'd never heard of from Saturn's Core. So that'll do it for this package and this roundup of Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.